Have you ever woken up to that familiar rumble in your stomach? The kind that demands something quick and satisfying? Maybe you've got a routine, something you've relied on for years, a little ritual that feels like a pat on the back to start your day. But here's a thought that might stop you in your tracks. As we cross into our 60s and beyond, some of those trusty breakfast picks could be working against you, chipping away at your health bit by bit. Your body's not the same as it was decades ago. It's seasoned, sure, but it needs gentler care. What you eat first thing can either set you up to shine or leave you dragging, and the stakes get higher with every candle on the cake. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on 4 breakfast foods you should steer clear of, no matter how hungry you are. These aren't just guesses, they're lessons I've gathered from watching friends, family, and neighbors navigate their golden years. Hang with me to the end. I'll share easy, delicious swaps that'll keep your energy high and your heart happy, plus a gem my grandmother taught me that might just brighten your mornings. Ready to take the reins on your health? Hit that subscribe button and let's jump in together. Processed breakfast pastries. The sweet trap of convenience. Imagine this. It's a chilly morning, the kind where the floor feels cold under your slippers. You shuffle to the kitchen, eyes bleary, and there's that box of pastries on the counter, flaky, golden, maybe a swirl of cinnamon or a dusting of sugar calling your name. For years, I watched my neighbor, Mrs. Clara, lean on this habit. At 78, she'd sit at her little table, nibbling a Danish or a packaged muffin, her face lighting up as she reminisced about bakery runs with her dad. "It's just a little treat," she'd say with a wink. But one afternoon over a cup of tea, she let slip a worry that hit me hard. "My doctor says my blood sugar's been creeping up, and I never saw it coming." Like so many of us, Clara didn't realize those processed breakfast pastries, donuts, cinnamon rolls, toaster strudels, were more than a quick fix. They're stuffed with refined sugars, unhealthy fats, and preservatives that wreak havoc, especially after 60 when your body's less equipped to shrug off the damage. Why do these hit so hard as we age? Your metabolism isn't the speed demon it once was. It's more like a steady old horse now. That sugar rush from a pastry sends your blood glucose soaring, only to plummet soon after, leaving you fuzzy-headed and worn out before lunch. I saw it with my Uncle Joe, too. He'd grab a muffin at 65, thinking it was lighter than eggs, but by 10 a.m., he was dozing in his armchair. Then there's the fat, trans fats to be exact, that sneak into these treats, clogging arteries and putting your heart through the ringer. I've sat with folks who didn't connect their shortness of breath or that heavy feeling to their morning bite, but the link's there, quiet but real. And the salt, even a sweet pastry, can pack a surprising punch, taxing kidneys that are already pulling double shifts. Clara's story stuck with me. She'd been so proud of her independence, but those pastries were sapping it, one crumb at a time. What can you do instead? It's simpler than you'd think. My grandmother had a trick. She'd bake oatmeal scones on Sundays. Just oats, a drizzle of honey, and a handful of blueberries or raisins. She'd freeze them in little bundles, then toast one each morning with her tea. 5 minutes, no mess, and she'd be humming through her day, sharp as ever. I tried it myself once, skeptical at first. Could it really beat a donut? But that warm scone, paired with a dab of yogurt, kept me going without the crash. You don't need fancy skills. Just a bit of prep can turn your mornings around. Think about it. A little effort now for years of feeling better. If this strikes a chord, drop a 1 in the comments. I'd love to know you're riding along with me. Sugary cereals, a childhood habit that hurts now. Let's stroll back in time for a minute. Picture yourself as a kid, wide-eyed at the breakfast table, pleading for that bright box of cereal with the cartoon mascot. The crunch, the sweetness, it was magic in a bowl. Fast forward to now, and maybe you still pour yourself a helping, thinking it's a harmless nod to those days. My old pal, Mr. Henry, 70 and full of stories, was hooked on this. Every morning, he'd scoop out frosted flakes or honey-coated puffs, grinning like he'd cracked the code to staying young. But last spring, over a quiet coffee chat, he leaned in and said, "I had no idea my joints were paying the price. My doctor thinks it's all that sugar piling up." Sugary cereals, even the ones touting whole grains or vitamins, are a sneaky foe for seniors. They're drenched in refined sugars that throw your system into chaos and spark inflammation your aging body struggles to tame. Here's the scoop I've pieced together from years of watching folks wrestle with this. After 60, your body's insulin game changes. That cereal sends your blood sugar rocketing up like a firework, but when it crashes, sometimes just an hour or two later, you're left shaky, tired, and reaching for a snack. Henry used to laugh it off, saying he'd earned a treat, but he didn't see how it dulled his afternoons. The original video I dug into flagged sweetened yogurt as a sugar trap, but cereals are craftier. They hide behind health claims while packing more sugar than a dessert. I once peeked at a box of Raisin Bran, 15 grams per serving, and that's before the milk. For kidneys slowing down and a heart that's logged decades of beats, it's a burden they don't deserve. And it's not just physical. When you're dragging by noon, it dims the joy of simple things like a walk or a chat with a grandkid. But here's the good news. You can keep that morning crunch without the fallout. Swap it for plain oats, old-fashioned, not instant, tossed with walnuts, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and a ripe peach sliced on top. I started this after seeing Henry slump one too many times, and it's a game changer. The fiber keeps you full, the nuts add a hearty bite, and the fruit brings a natural sweetness that doesn't trick your body. It takes maybe 10 minutes to prep a batch for the week. Boil it up, store it in the fridge, and reheat as needed. Henry tried it, grumbling at first about missing his flakes, but a month later, he was bragging about climbing his porch steps without a huff. It's not about losing the fun of breakfast. It's about gaining back your spark. If this one's ringing true, toss a 2 in the comments. I'm cheering you on. Fried breakfast meats, a hearty habit that weighs you down. There's nothing quite like the sound of bacon sizzling in the pan, is there? That smoky aroma, the crisp snap, it's a memory etched into so many mornings. My buddy George, 82 and a master of tall tales, lived for it. He'd fry up a plate of bacon and eggs, maybe a sausage link or two, and settle in with a grin saying, "This is what keeps an old man going." But last year, he pulled me aside after a checkup, his voice low. "My cholesterol's through the roof, and I never thought it'd be the bacon." Fried breakfast meats, bacon, sausage, ham, are a tough one to let go of. But for seniors, they're a heavyweight champ in the ring of health risks. Packed with saturated fats and sodium, they slam your heart and blood pressure hard, especially when your body's not as quick to bounce back. The original piece I studied nailed this one. High-fat foods like bacon pile on the cholesterol risk, but I've seen it unfold in real life too often to brush off. After 60, your arteries aren't as elastic, and those greasy bites lay down plaque like bricks in a wall, narrowing the flow. George didn't notice day to day. He'd still shuffle out to his garden. But over months, his stamina faded, and his doctor pointed to inflammation from all that fat. Then there's the salt. A single sausage can carry half a day's worth, straining kidneys that are already pacing themselves. My aunt used to pair her sausage with toast, then wonder why her ankles puffed up by lunch. It took me pointing it out for her to see the thread. It's not just your body that suffers. When you're weighed down and tired, it dims the light in your day, stealing moments you'd rather spend laughing or tinkering. The fix is easier than you'd guess. Ditch the skillet and try poaching an egg. Soft, rich, no grease. And pair it with turkey bacon, lean and low salt, but still savory. I started this for George after his scare, and he was skeptical. Turkey? That's not breakfast. But 2 weeks in, he was back to his old self, spinning yarns without a nap break. I've even played with it myself, adding a slice of tomato or a sprinkle of herbs for kick. You can batch cook the turkey strips on a Sunday, stash them in the fridge and pull one out each morning, 5 minutes tops. It's not about giving up the sizzle in your soul, it's about keeping your heart ticking strong. If this one's landing, drop a 3 below. I'm here with you. White bread toast with butter. A simple sin that adds up toast with butter. Who doesn't love that warm, melty goodness? It's the kind of breakfast that feels like a hug from the inside out. My mom, at 88, was a devotee. She'd sit by the window, spreading butter thick on white bread, saying, "It's just a little something to start the day." But over time, I noticed her slowing down. Her knees creaked louder, her energy fizzled by mid-morning. When I pressed her doctor, he hinted at inflammation and blood sugar swings, and it clicked. That innocent toast was a culprit. White bread with butter seems simple, but for seniors, it's a double-edged sword. The refined carbs spike your sugar fast, and the butter's saturated fat builds up trouble. Tough stuff when your body's not as spry at handling it. Here's what I've pieced together. After 60, your digestion's more like a gentle stream than a rushing river. White bread's got no fiber. It burns quick, leaving you hungry again before you've even finished your tea. Pair it with butter, and you're layering on inflammation that makes joints ache and hearts work overtime. My mom's knees weren't just old age, they were begging for a break. The original video skipped this combo, focusing on croissants, but toast is sneakier. It's so ordinary you don't suspect it. I've seen friends dismiss it as not a big deal, only to grumble about bloating or stiffness later. It's not a loud villain, it's a quiet thief, nibbling away at your pep day after day. And the emotional hit, when you're too tired to enjoy a grandchild's visit or a sunny walk. That's the real loss. Switching's a breeze though. Try whole grain bread, nutty, hearty, full of fiber, with a smear of avocado instead. I got my mom on board and she'd giggle, calling it her fancy toast with a dash of pepper or a tomato slice. It took her a week to adjust, but soon she was swearing she felt lighter, her stiffness easing up. I've done it too. Mash half an avocado on Sunday, keep it in a jar, and it's ready all week. No frying, no fuss, just 5 minutes to a better morning. It's not about ditching comfort, it's about trading up for vitality. If this one's speaking to you, leave a 4 in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. Key takeaways: your mornings, your power. So what's the heart of it all? Your breakfast isn't just a meal, it's a vote for how you'll feel today and tomorrow. Processed pastries, sugary cereals, fried meats, and buttery white toast might feel like old pals, but they're freeloaders, draining your strength when you deserve to shine. You're not too old to shift gears. Every bite's a chance to lift yourself up. Start small. Swap one thing this week, like oats for cereal or avocado for butter, and watch the magic unfold. My grandmother's secret? She'd sip warm lemon water each morning. Nothing fancy, just a gentle wake-up that set her day right. Try it and tell me how it feels. If these nuggets spark something, hit that like button. It keeps me sharing these tales. Subscribe if you're not already. More wisdom's on the way. In the comments, share one change you'll try tomorrow. I can't wait to hear your story and cheer you on.